Welcome to Infinity and Beyond, a podcast that takes a look back at the works of Pixar animation before moving onward to their newest films. Today, we become Lost Toys as we finally catch up on our rewatches. Toy Story 4 time!
It is time.
Oh, I'm so
It's not.
sad.
It's not over yet.
I know, but it's so sad. I've enjoyed this so much.
So have I, kid.
Yeah,
Aw.
it is. It's been a good run, and we still have at least one more week.
Yeah. I've got to go back and watch the movies I wasn't on the recording with y'all with. I've watched some, but just so I can officialize my ranking.
Yeah, that's everything up to Incredibles.
Well, you didn't even watch Incredibles, Nora.
Oh, I did. I went back and watched it.
Okay. I know you went
Anyway.
back and watched Cars because all of a sudden you popped into the group chat one day. Guys, we were so wrong about Cars.
Okay.
Jeff and I were just confused.
Well, I retract my statement. Cars is good. It's not like the best, but it's good. We trashed on it slightly too much.
Perhaps.
Maybe, but we're not talking about the Cars franchise anymore. I hate that that's words that exist.
Just wait for Cars 4.
Oh my goodness.
Don't jinx it.
Cars 4, the one where Lightning decides he has to leave Radiator Springs
Boy, don't
because
spoil it just yet.
The one where Lightning dies for real this time.
they're gonna pull a Matrix where they fake kill off one of the characters and then actually kill them off in the next movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Anyway, who the gosh darn heck are we?
I'm Daniel Hudson.
I'm Nora Jones.
And I'm Jaron Gravely.
Every time we do that, I feel like it should be like, and together we're.
You did that our first several episodes.
I know, and I have to stop my urge from doing it every single time. And I
We're
want
the
to
Lost
say
Toys.
no, I want to say and together we're the Powderpuff Girls.
Yeah, do it.
As long as I get to be, what's the green one?
Buttercup. Wow, Jaron.
Blossom's the pink one, right? Or is that the blue one?
No,
Bubbles is the
Yeah.
blue one.
Bubbles
I
is the
call-
blue one. Blossom
I
is the
call
pink.
Bubbles.
I am fine with being Blossom, but
Wait, that's perfect for us.
I don't know. I don't know if Jaron is quite the angsty, aggressive Buttercup.
Oh, he is.
I'm
Buttercup's
angsty, but not aggressive.
Buttercup's a sweetheart too, so it works.
All right, let's get down to business discussing this movie.
So sorry, so sorry.
It's
Yes,
okay.
So it is time for a recap. I did Incredibles 2, so Jaron,
All right.
I think it's your turn because Nora did.
Yeah, I'm not prepared to do the Well, I'm never
Wait.
prepared to do a recap, but
Wait, no, hang on. hang on.
I did Coco.
I was about to say because yeah, you did Coco, and that was before. Okay, so
well,
Nora, it is
I
supposed to be.
switched with him. I thought because I did. What did I do? I did Cars 3,
That's true.
and it was supposed to be.
It's getting
Jaron,
screwed
so
up in
then
my
I
mind.
did Coco.
Yeah, I did Toy Story 3, so I can do 4.
I was thinking you'd want to do it because Toy Story's your thing.
Yeah, okay.
Also, I don't want to do it.
All right. So should I just go ahead and begin?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's just jump right into it.
All right. Anyway, we begin the movie on a flashback to, was it 9 years in the past?
9 years.
I believe it was 9, yeah. Where dark and stormy night, where Andy has all the toys, and it's raining profusely outside. But
That was
Woody, profusely, yes. Woody and the others hatch a plan to save RC, who is about to go up the river.
I'm gonna
It
stop
was
you right
nice
there,
seeing.
real quick. I
Yeah.
wish that character had been Wheezy. They should have
Yes!
Wheezy.
You're so right.
Weezy wouldn't have
I guess
survived that.
No, but he's so iconic that I would have suspended my disbelief.
I mean, RC is iconic too. He was in the chase sequence in the first movie, but
No, but really, Weezy would not have survived that. Like, it would have gone in his like little Weezy lung. Like, he would have died.
okay, you're not wrong. Anyway, they hatch a plan to rescue RC, uh, but it's the night that Bo Peep gets sold to a new owner, and Woody has a final goodbye with Bo, and she basically says, "Hey, you could come along with me," and he very briefly considers it until Andy comes a calling his mother to look for Woody, and he's like, I gotta stay, which is obvious foreshadowing for later. Anyway, we have a nice little montage with "You've Got a Friend in Me" back again, showing Andy growing up, and then giving them to Bonnie at the end of the third movie. And I believe we're now, I guess, a year after 3 or something, because she would have been like preschool or kindergarten in 3. No, she's kindergarten in this movie.
Yeah, she finishes kindergarten in this movie.
Yeah.
No, she
Anyway,
starts kindergarten in this movie. It's kindergarten orientation.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And she finishes it.
Oh yeah, she does finish it. But I mean,
we're a little while after the end of 3. Everyone's settling in just fine of the old group. Jessie, in particular, becomes Bonnie's new favorite, and she's the sheriff now. And Woody gets kind of shafted. He gets kind of on the sideline. Uh, there's a scene where he meets these like preschool toys, and they're voiced by Betty White, Mel Brooks, Carl Reiner, and Carol Burnett. And I thought that was really neat. That was a cool little cameo, I guess.
Yeah, that
Those
was
comedy icons and legends.
wait, who did you do?
But
Bonnie's preschool toys were voiced by famous old people, Nora.
Oh no, I didn't. I should have recognized Carol Burnett.
yeah. Well, granted, she only has like 1 or 2 lines.
But that doesn't matter. I should have recognized the queen.
She is a queen.
Oh, I'm so ashamed.
Anyway, moving forward, it's Bonnie's kindergarten orientation, and she can't bring a toy to school, except Woody, being the crafty little cowboy he is, puts in the backpack and goes on with her to bring a little bit of peace and comfort to her on her stressful orientation. But then, during the time when she's particularly upset, he sets out some conspicuous craft supplies or trash um, for her to play around with, and she creates life, or rather, Forky, who we see later. And so
Train.
Woody and Forky, Woody and Forky are in the backpack, and Woody's like, "Look at me talking to a spork," and then he starts moving and talking.
Wait. Okay. Why is he called Forky when he's
If
a
he's
spork?
a spork,
His
I'll get
name
to that later.
is Sporky.
I watched the director's commentary, and
No, I don't care what their excuse is. That was a bad decision.
Would you say it's a trash decision?
Yes, their opinion is trash. Literally, their opinion is literally trash.
I was waiting. So I was waiting for the first reference to "your opinion is trash" on this episode.
Well, there it is.
Anyway, they get back to Bonnie's room, and all the toys are like, "Uh-oh, Woody, you got some splaining to do." Hope you guys caught my little reference there.
Yes.
Anyway,
No.
so he does some splaining, and out pops Forky, and he's like, "Hi, I'm trash," and he runs the trash can, and Woody's like, "No, get out of there." Anyway, so Bonnie's family decides they're going on a road trip before she properly starts kindergarten. So they go out in an RV and travel down to this place. Was it Grand Basin or whatever it's called? I think
I have no idea.
it was something like it. It was something like that.
There's a
Uh,
carnival.
yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, so on the way there, on the RV, Woody's just kind of coming to grips with looking out for Forky, who's constantly trying to end up in the trash can.
Basically, Forky is trying to toy suicide.
Basically,
Yeah.
basically, and that entire song by the great Randy Newman
I was gonna
is
talk
basically
about
it's basically an anti-suicide song.
Yep.
Yep.
Anyway, so on the RV, he keeps watch over Forky, and Buzz comes up and talks to him, knowing Woody is kind of upset about his current plight. They have a little chat, and Woody's like, "Oh, if I stop watching Forky, my inner voice wouldn't let me do that." And Buzz is like, "Your what?" He's like, "My inner voice."
I have so many issues.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the inner voice thing was hilarious, but
I have issues.
anyway,
I have
I have issues.
anyway, Buzz thinks the inner voice is literally their like pre-programmed catchphrases and whatnot, and not your conscience.
Once again, I have issues.
Anyway, Forky escapes, and Woody goes to try to catch him, and lets the others go on ahead in the RV, and they'll regroup later. Woody and Forky have a talk on the road about Woody's past and his present, and what he's doing and where he's been. He slips up and says Andy instead of Bonnie, obviously showing he's still kind of having a hard time moving on.
Stockholm syndrome is the worst.
I don't know if that's Stockholm syndrome.
No, it's not. I'm making a funny.
Oh, you made the big funny.
Big funny. Anyway, they make their way into town, into an antique store, and Woody, through the window, sees an old lamp. He's like, "Hey, I know who that might be." So they pop in looking for Bo Peep, Woody's old flame, his old lamp.
Oh,
Was that funny?
I laughed very hard.
I feel like we could have lampshaded that one a bit, though.
Oh.
Wow, way to put a dimmer on that one, Daniel.
All right, I'm shutting this off.
Ha ha ha.
Anyway, so
Yeah, keep going.
they go in the antique shop and they go looking for her, and out pops a creepy little doll named Gabby Gabby. Who,
Issues. I have issues with her.
Same. She's like, "Hey, I've no kid ever wanted me because my voice box. Hey, say, we're from around the same time, you and I. Mind giving me your voice box?" And Woody's like, "Lol, no."
It's just like, let me harvest your toy organs.
I mean, technically, that is kind of what it is.
I'll pass. Thanks. But no thanks.
It's just like if I got into some strange woman's car to help track down an old flame, and she's like, "Hey, can I have your kidney?"
Technically, yes.
Like I'd peace out too.
Yeah, like, no, you're a creep. Get away from me. Which is kind of what he does. And so he escapes and to a local playground, and there he comes across Bo Peep, and they catch up a little bit, and but we get a great little scene with Combat Carl, voiced by Carl Weathers. And there's the one Combat Carl who has his hand up because he didn't get a high five.
Oh my god, my heart went out to that poor guy.
I was like, I've been there.
Everyone's been there.
Yeah. Anyway, shout out Combat Carl. Anyway, the RV parks in an RV park, and they're like, "Oh, where's Woody and Forky?" And they're like, "What would Woody do?" And then Buzz presses his button, and listens to his inner voice
I
and
can't.
escapes. I think it's really funny.
I thought it was funny the first time. Okay, let me explain. I think Daniels had an influence on me in watching these movies because the first time I watched it, I don't even remember that being a plot line, and I totally accepted it and I was fine.
That was a
The second-
big, like,
Yeah, I don't remember it, and I saw it in theaters, and then the second time, which is this time watching it, I went, yeah, no, what the frick? Why is that his entire decision making? What? And so Daniel has made me criticize all of the characters now.
Hooray, I've ruined something for someone.
No, I was just thinking, why is Buzz really stupid?
okay, I'll get to that in a minute, because I do have a bit of a problem with that.
I was like, why is Buzz just really stupid in this movie?
Yeah, that is a problem. Anyway, so he makes way and eventually gets captured and becomes a prize in one of the carnival games where he encounters
The best characters
the
ever.
best characters.
Well, yeah, because they're Key and Peele.
It's Key and Peele. Jordan Peele famously retired from acting after being offered the role of Poop in the Emoji Movie, but came back for Toy Story.
With the best character.
Yeah. This man is an Oscar-winning filmmaker who is like dominating the box office with his original horror films with a lot of great social commentary. And he comes back to voice a stuffed animal.
Yes.
Legend.
Legend.
Jordan Peele, you're a king.
I on the 0.1% chance you're hearing this, I very much respect and admire you, sir. King alert.
I didn't know who this man was, but good job, sir.
You don't know Key and Peele?
I'm bad with names, Jaron. I might know his face.
Okay, you might. They're a comedy duo. They've done a lot of skits and they had a show.
Then I probably know who they are.
Yeah.
Great. Moving on.
Moving on.
Moving onward.
Next
Is
week, kid.
this literally the first time we've used that pun, though?
Yes.
How has that not
I
been a
want
thing?
to say so.
Okay.
Anyway, moving.
I'm ruined now.
Continuing forward.
Yeah, continuing forward.
That's awful. Please don't ever say that again.
So Buzz gets trapped and encounters Ducky and Bunny, who just mess with him and kick him around and stuff, and
Is
he
that
doesn't
their
like it.
names?
Yeah, they're just Ducky and Bunny.
Okay, I was just thinking I could never remember their names. Like, I didn't know them. I didn't know it was just Ducky and Bunny.
Yeah, I love how they're connected
Nice and
to
easy to
each
remember.
other. Yeah. Next are Ducky and a Bunny. How hard is that? Well, not hard at all because they're stuffed plush toys. Ha. I should stop. Anywho, so they keep going. Woody and Bo try to go back to the antique shop to get Forky back because Woody's like, Forky's really important to Bonnie. I got to go help him. And Bo's like, why bother, being tied down and living in a kid's room when you can have all this, which is, this constant adventure of moving along the carnival. Wait, no. Did she move with the carnival, or did she just stay in the antique store?
Who? Bo?
I think that was kind of Bo.
She didn't move with the carnival because when the carnival comes, she's like, and now this carnival's in town, we have a chance to get out of here. So she's been with the
That's
antique
right.
store.
Yeah.
She's been on the playground probably for the last 7 years, I would guess.
Yeah, there's a short on Disney Plus that like fleshes out all of her time.
Oh, cool. I get to look outside of a movie to understand the movie. That's my favorite thing.
Oh, we love that.
Is that sarcasm?
That was sarcasm.
That was sarcasm.
Especially
really
considering I'm a
good.
fan of Doug's Special Mission.
I love Doug's Special Mission.
It's good.
It's fabulous.
But it makes me feel like a hypocrite.
Criticize Douglas again.
I'm criticizing myself, Nora.
Good. Good.
Calm down.
Good.
All right, let's
I
keep
will
going.
attack you for Doug.
Anyway, Buzz regroups with Woody and Bo, who just had a conversation about, you know, Bo's again like, hey, you don't have to stick around there. You can come hang out with me. Uh, then Woody talks about the others. Uh, they regroup. They go back to the antique store to try to get Forky, where they enlist the help of uh, the big man on the internet in the summer of 2019, Duke Kaboom, voiced by Keanu Reeves, Canada's greatest stuntman, and my favorite new character in this film. He doesn't have a
Really?
whole lot. Yes.
Rajon.
Yeah, Rajon.
Wow, he really Canada does it for you, doesn't he? Because he says you Canada do it.
Yep.
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 Anyway, he's great. He's voiced by Keanu Reeves.
I did
I
not
feel
know
like
that.
it's kind of cliche to like Keanu Reeves at this point, but
I didn't find out who Keanu Reeves was till last year when I went and saw a John Wick movie for the first time, and I also found out what John Wick was during that same experience.
Really?
Yeah,
I would
Gideon
love to
was
hear.
like, "You want to go to a movie with me?" And I was like, "Sure." And he was like, "Well, I want to go see John Wick, like the new John Wick movie." And I was like, "What is John Wick?" And so I went and saw it.
That's so you though.
And then I found out who Keanu Reeves is. So
How did you ever see The Matrix or Bill and Ted or?
no.
Jaren,
Wow.
this is Nora we're talking about.
I am dealing with a zoomer here.
Listen. I know very specific facts about very random things. So every
I
now
know. You've proven this to me on time and time again.
you'll hit like a topic and I'll know like everything about it.
Yeah,
Like,
I know, and I'm thoroughly impressed by it, but
Thank
you
you.
don't know.
I've been meaning to watch The Matrix along with E.T. and Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and any other classic film basically ever. And I'm getting around to it.
Good.
Hey, don't
I'm
worry,
Hey,
Nora.
maybe we'll do that on our. I'm getting
Yeah,
ahead of myself.
don't worry about being behind, Nora. I just watched Lawrence of Arabia yesterday.
What's
Like,
that?
hey, Jaren, let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do our own podcast.
I meant let's finish doing the summary.
Oh,
That was rude, Jared.
hey, I'm just listening to my inner voice.
Don't you dare reference trash.
Clicks button. There's a secret mission in Uncharted space.
Oh dear.
Oh, I am almost done with Star Wars Episode 3.
That's the good one of the prequels.
Yeah, I really like it. Episode 1 was trash. Sorry.
It was.
It was trash. I don't even remember what it was about.
What did you? Let's keep going. I've had a long day.
Okay, I kind of zoned out for 20 minutes and the same thing was still happening, so.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That sounds like episode 1.
Yeah.
Anyway, they go back to the antique shop to get Forky back, and Duke Kaboom is there, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know about it, Bo. He's great. We love him." And eventually, they do the plan, trying to evade the cat, as well as Gabby Gabby's horrifying ventriloquist minions.
I have issues.
Listen, man, ventriloquist dummies are just creepy in general.
I have issues.
What, of Sports Illustrated magazine?
No, of the well, I mean, yeah, but of that part of the movie.
I think these days the only time you get magazines is stealing them from the doctor's office waiting rooms. That's definitely not a thing I've ever done.
Wow, you just confessed your crime. That's stealing. You're going to jail. Yeah.
Gotta listen to my inner voice again. You don't have to go to jail. Anyway, they escape, but they don't get Forky. They fail, and Woody's like, "Guys, we got to get back." And everyone's like, dude." And even Buzz is kind of disappointed. Uh, but Woody, being kind of stubborn, is like, "No, we've got to find him. Bonnie needs him." And Bo's like, "Get a grip." And they have a little argument, and they do that thing which has been done in the 3 other Toy Story movies, I think, where Woody says something, like he gets mad, and he has like that look on his face. You know what I'm talking about?
I know the look.
Yeah. When he says something he probably shouldn't have said.
Yes. Yes! I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because he does it in that scene, and he's like...
He like furrows his eyebrows, and then he raises them because he realizes he shouldn't have said that, but then he furrows them again because he's going to decide to stick with it.
Exactly.
Yep.
In 3, he's like, "Oh, after all we've been through together," and he just kind of walks off. They do that here.
Tom Hanks went, "Really? Again, guys?"
Yeah.
I wonder if Tom Hanks furrows his eyebrows in the exact same way when he's recording it.
Maybe.
I hope so. I highly doubt it.
When you think about it, Woody does have some Tom Hanks, like, facial expressions.
I love Tom Hanks so much.
Legend.
I heard he cried a lot when he read this. I don't know if that's true, but it was rumored I heard he cried a lot when he read the script.
Yeah, we'll get to that later when we get to the ending.
Okay.
Anyway, Gabby corners Woody and is like, "Hey, you've had all this time. You've had 2 kids. Don't you think that, it'd be nice for me to have all that for just a little bit?
I still have issues with her.
Can you look into your heart and give me your voice box?"
Give me your kidney, Woody.
He's like, "Fine." And, in exchange for Forky. And so he basically goes under the toy knife, or rather under the sewing machine. And, I mean, it's kind of framed like it's a surgery of some sort.
Dang it, they took my kidney. Sorry.
Yeah. So she gets his voice box, and Woody tries to find his way back to the others in the RV, where okay, it's a little early to bring up one of my problems.
I already brought up some of mine.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got off track with the Charlie the Unicorn reference.
No, it's okay.
Dang it, they stole my kidney.
Anyway, he tries to get back, and eventually does. And there's, oh, and Bo and Giggle McDimples and Ducky and Bunny and Duke Kaboom are trying
I'm sorry, Giggle McWhat?
Giggle McDimples? Don't you remember
the tiny
thing? The little Polly Pocket
that's
thing?
her real name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a terrible name.
Officer Giggle McDimples.
Who made that decision?
I don't know. It's like a little Polly Pocket toy,
I didn't know her name.
Yeah.
You're really good at names, Nora.
I know.
What's my name again?
Daniel.
There we go.
If you had asked me that on like the 2nd or 3rd podcast we recorded, I would have freaked out.
Donnie?
No, I would have been like I would have known it, but I was so scared to say it just in case I was wrong. I would have been like, "It's Daniel, duh." Sorry.
What surprises me most, you've seen this movie twice, and I know the characters' names better than you.
I need you to back off.
I'm sorry.
Oh wait.
Anyway.
Sorry. There was some, I don't remember what we were talking about now, but there was some movie me and my mom were talking about that I saw years ago, and I remembered a character's name that shows up for like 0.2 seconds. I don't know what it was, what movie or TV show, but I remember it, and I was proud of myself. I don't remember what it was now, but if I remembered the conversation, I would. So.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yep.
Those guys, the ones I just named a minute ago, they're getting ready to leave with the carnival, and they're like, oh, that guy, Bo, you hung out with, screw him, he's lame, he's really dumb. I don't get what he was going for. And she's like, I think he's great. And she tries to go back to help him. Eventually, Gabby encounters the kid, the granddaughter of the antique store
Harmony.
owner, Harmony, yeah. Who she had been wanting to be owned by, who looks just like the little girl in her book that came with her. And she's like, oh, hey, there's just a little doll. And whatever. And doesn't, just puts her aside. I know it's supposed to be a very dramatic scene, but it's also a little funny.
Yeah.
No, it's a very sad moment.
But no, it's just her, just kind of, amazing to think that a 7-year-old girl would want a doll from the 1950s. But, whatever.
I wanted the doll.
I know you.
Harmony's a jerk.
We'll get to that later.
Harmony's a minor key.
A what?
A minor key. She's no good Harmony. She's a Harmony in a minor key.
The music references are too highbrow for us. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I got it. I'm just like, why now?
Just keep going.
Anyway, so Woody finds his way back to the RV, and Bo catches up. Oh, and then Gabby goes to a kid crying who missed her parents, who lost her parents.
That's the best part. I like that.
That was a really good part. That was, that was actually one of the more emotional parts of the movie. I don't know why. I didn't even like Gabby that much.
Except I have a major issue that y'all aren't going to agree with me on in that scene specifically, but I love that scene. But
we'll get there later.
We'll get there later.
Anyway, so Woody's about to leave, back with the others, until he talks to Buzz, and he says goodbye to Bo, and he's really sad about it. And he's talking to Buzz, he's like, I don't know, this is hard. And Buzz is like, she'll be okay, thinking he's talking about Bo. Then he clarifies and says, Bonnie will be okay. And then Woody's like, are you sure? And then Buzz says the line, just listen to your inner voice.
It's beautiful, but also flawed.
Anyway,
I honestly wish he just pushed one of his buttons at the time to say the right thing, but then the button says something loudly
so long, Space Ranger, or something like that.
Oh no, I wish he.
But it says the wrong thing, like return to base, and he'd have to slap it a few more times until it finally says what he wanted it to say.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stick with your gut.
I thought he should push it, and it should say to infinity and beyond. Because that's like
we really need the brand recognition. We need that. We need the advertisement.
Of course we do.
Yeah.
It's a children's film we're talking about.
Anyway, Woody leaves the others and sticks with Bo Peep and decides to travel with them and be lost toys together.
Wow.
Yep, and the RV pulls off, and Buzz and Woody have their little goodbyes, even from afar, and that's the end.
Wow.
So,
Toy Story 4.
Should we go ahead and just discuss what we thought of it? Because this is the most recent one, and we've not really talked about it very much.
That's true. That's partially because I hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah, I know, and we discussed that last week, how we didn't want to...
Oh, yeah, Daniel hadn't seen it. I want to hear Daniel's opinions.
Yeah, go ahead and share yours first, my boy.
Go, Daniel, go.
Oh, all right.
He rubs his hands like a villain. He's going to crush this movie, Sharon. We've made a bad decision.
I'm not going to crush this movie. I have pluses and minuses. I have good and bad.
I think we all do.
He's going to call out trash opinions.
I'm sure I have a few trash opinions.
this film in general, the word I would use, confusing, or just confused in general.
Okay, I liked it. I did not think it was
I like
bad.
it too, a lot,
I
actually.
don't think confusing is quite the right word.
Okay.
So just trying to collect myself here. So I think I told you guys beforehand. I did figure out what the ending was going to be a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I think that gave me enough time to process it
Yeah.
going in. But I was kind of
Wait.
relying on the movie to convince me it was a good idea for an ending.
Yeah.
And I don't think the movie succeeded in doing that.
It kind of didn't.
Wait. Were you told the ending, or were you like an evil mastermind and figured out the ending?
I figured it out based on what people were saying on Twitter when they were trying not to spoil it.
So
Oh
you're
no, I was just straight up spoiled.
so you're a genius.
Or just had a lot of context clues and...
Yeah,
sticking with evil mastermind.
Sure.
Sure.
So, I have a big problem with the way they went about doing the whole Woody separates from the gang thing.
Yeah.
It mostly comes down to the fact that the last two movies have been arguing the selfless route. And then this movie kind of argues for the selfish route. And I'm not saying you can't like change your priorities or stuff like that, or you can't inject a little nuance into these things. But this movie took away the nuance instead of adding to it. The whole conceit of like Woody leaving would not be possible if they didn't make it so Bonnie did not care about him.
Yeah. Which is straight up weird because...
I have issues with that. It bothers me that Bonnie does not like that toy. And I know she's literally a kindergartner, but Andy stood there and said how special Woody was and how much he cared about Woody and made Bonnie promise that she would love him equally and treat him well. And Bonnie agreed, and they played, and Woody was like the main one they played with. So what the heck happened?
Yeah.
Like, Bonnie, you done messed up. You broke your promise. You need to get your priorities straight.
I mean, it all comes down to it had to be this way because Woody leaving under any other circumstances would be wildly out of character.
Yeah, what else would they have... If
like,
they were going to go with that story arc?
If there was even one more toy that Bonnie didn't care about, like if Bonnie didn't care about Rex, I don't think Woody leaving would work in the slightest.
No.
It's like Woody's like, yeah, I'm gonna go be a lost toy, because Bonnie doesn't care about me. But it's okay because I have a girlfriend I can fall back on. Rex, sorry, dude.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's
good. I like it.
It's just too
there are
clean.
Problems. Clean?
Like, it's too clean.
Yeah.
Like, if Bonnie cared about Woody, it would have been another situation like in the prologue where he wouldn't have been able to leave because Bonnie cared about him.
Yeah.
I feel like Woody's gonna struggle with problems now of never feeling wanted because he claims, he like desires love from a child so deeply, and he's still deeply attached to Andy, and I think it's going to take him much longer to come to terms with that rather than just leaving Bonnie, because I think that fact that Bonnie didn't choose him is going to stay with him forever, and I just could feel his trauma coming on to him by the end of the movie. Did anybody else feel that?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I still think
he was
he's
so
not very
present,
fulfilled.
especially in the beginning of the film, because Woody clung to the idea of Forky being important.
Yeah.
Because he was the reason he exists.
It's a clear sign of character development from the first movie where he was so jealous of Buzz being the new favorite.
Well, I think this is just like an evolution of that jealousy. Because, like, here's the thing: like, Forky exists because of Woody. If Woody had not put the trash up on the table, Forky wouldn't exist. So
Yeah.
he feels like Bonnie has the super important thing because of me, and that's why he feels so much responsibility for Forky. And it just feels like that same old jealousy, but in a different form.
I kind of
Okay.
liked that because it showed that he had matured somewhat to not where he was just like ruthlessly jealous. But it was the fact that he was so desperate for a purpose that drove him to
Yeah.
that. But I didn't have a problem with that per se.
Well, one of my favorite parts is when Buzz is like, why are you doing all this? Or was it Bill? I don't remember. But he's like, because this is all I have left.
Yeah,
Like that. That kind of hit.
Woody's character is very deep in this movie.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like. They did not shy away from Woody's emotions and his and how he carries out his emotions throughout the movie. Although I don't think they're really solved at the end.
No, it feels, I think, as I said last week, part of this feels somewhat incomplete.
Yeah. It kind
So,
of touches me because those are the toys he's been with forever.
yeah. Okay, one of my big problems, as I was hinted during the synopsis, I don't really like how the OGs kind of got shafted. Uh, Jesse, Bullseye, Rex, Ham, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. Now, I know there's a reason why Mr. Potato Head didn't get a lot of screen time, is that Don Rickles, his voice actor, passed away. They used unused clips for him because they felt they could not recast him.
They pulled a Tross.
They did, but it wasn't as obvious, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't remember like any of the OG voicing of this movie except maybe like Jesse and
all their original voice actors are back. It's
I
just
know they
Don
are, but I
Rickles passed away.
just don't remember them. And like Buzz, I mean but like the ones that are mainly in the RV, like I remember Trixie and
Yeah. Buttercup, the
and
unicorn.
Buttercup. Like
Oh
it's
yeah, none
Bonnie.
of Bonnie's toys really got to do much either.
No, it's Bonnie's
Preggle
toys.
They
Pants.
even
The
kind of
toys that
set
are
up like conflict between Woody and Dolly in the very beginning.
yeah.
Yeah, she didn't come along.
But at the very end, Woody passes the leadership role to Jesse instead,
Yeah, I
who
guess because
they
she's
did
the
not
sheriff.
build up for that very well in this
Jessie
movie.
was barely in it,
She
which
did
is weird
one
because
thing.
she's like the third main character of the franchise.
I know. I felt like none of them were really in it. Like I don't even remember Rex being in it. And I
Rex
know
I was about to
had
say
a
I was about
line,
to say all I remember is Rex saying I'm not emotionally prepared, but no, that's not in this. That's actually in Kingdom Hearts 3.
like I know they're in it, and I just don't remember them in it. The ones I remember are Bonnie's toys she's already had, a little bit of Jessie because the power gets handed to her, Buzz because he's actually a character, and Woody, of course.
Yeah. So I find it kind of annoying how, the characters who were so big in the first three kind of got nothing.
Yeah, and wouldn't you think they would fight for Woody to stay? I mean, I know they want to let him go, but it's like they were like, "Yeah, you're not wanted anymore. Bye, Woody."
Yeah.
it would also kind of be a dick move of them. Like, hey, Woody, don't don't do the thing you deep down want to do. Live in the closet forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like they should have. I don't know, grouped
Again,
up
it's
something.
it's another way this movie is too clean. Like all the friends are downplayed, so we don't have a big problem with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, as much as I like Duke Kaboom and Ducky and Bunny, I would have much rather have had Ham, Rex, the Potato Heads, Jesse, Bullseye,
I also
those
don't.
guys.
Yeah, yeah. I don't understand why Bonnie wouldn't want to play with Woody because the toys that are left in her closet are clearly from when she was like a toddler in
Yeah.
preschool. You can tell. And Woody's toy, Sheriff, fits with Bullseye and Jesse and fits like with that category, so I don't know why she wouldn't want to play. And I know it has to be that way, but I had a problem with that. I was like, why is he the only one? Like, it's like he's invisible. Like, even
Yeah.
when she sees Forky in her backpack near the end, she's like, Forky, like, she barely looks at him. I'm like, do you not see him? Like, no
Yeah,
comment?
in
Like,
3, she calls her my cowboy.
I don't.
It's
And she loves him in Toy Story 3. I don't.
yeah.
The reason of that, and watching the director's commentary was actually a bit illuminating of some of these problems. I wouldn't exactly say they're excused, but the director said that, oh yeah, my daughter had a Woody doll and a Jessie doll. She liked Jessie better.
Oh. Well,
I could
in
honestly
Toy
buy
Story
that.
3, he liked Woody better, though.
Yeah, I know.
Well, to be fair, in Toy Story 3, like, she didn't meet Jessie till the very end.
Yeah,
But still.
Like, I can honestly buy that Bonnie would prefer the girl cowboy toy.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, but
It's just weird that Woody is
let me
the
go ahead
only
and tell
one.
you. That does not fit in with my little girl logic, because when I was a little girl, and if I found a toy that was like by itself before any other toy, even if I liked the other toy afterwards better, I would always remember that toy because Bonnie like finds this cowboy, and I always held it special because it's just not a thing. She would remember Woody. She wouldn't just act like he's invisible. That's not a thing. Or at least not for me. So I had an issue.
They needed it to be this way, even if it comes at the expense of Bonnie's character. Not that the humans have ever had too much character to begin with, but
Should
I
we
don't
go
like
ahead
Bonnie
and...
in this movie. I do not
What?
like Bonnie in this. I do not like Bonnie in this movie.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Like, I love the little girl. I think it's just solely because she doesn't like Woody, and it gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
And that's not fair to Bonnie, and I know.
Should we discuss the behind-the-scenes stuff? Because there's some stuff there.
there certainly is. I kind of want to get through the full movie first, because we've talked a lot
Alright.
about the Woody side of things, but there's the whole carnival setting, there's our villain, there's Bo,
Yeah.
there's the concept of Forky.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay.
So we're
Going
saving
ahead and-
behind the scenes for last this time?
Well, I specifically want to discuss the behind the scenes in terms of the writing of this because my few problems with it kind of tie into that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Either way,
I will say, in regards to the writing, it is impressive how much character all of our new side characters get, despite how stuffed full of stuff this film is.
yeah. But
That
it's
is
in
a
spite
plus.
of...
It comes at the expense of all the main guys, and I get it. But, like,
Yeah.
Duke Kaboom has a whole arc, as comedic as it is. Ducky and Bunny,
Yeah,
like,
That is a
feel
big plus to this movie.
true.
things.
And
Like,
the stuff with the comedy with Ducky and Bunny is genuinely great. I don't think it could have been anyone other than Key and Peele.
the plush rush
busted out
scene is
laughing in the
great.
movie.
Yes, when it just keeps going and going.
They're like,
The
is this going
last
anywhere?
scenario,
Don't rush it.
and Buzz is like, no, we're not going to do that. And then they just keep going on, and then there's when they sneak up on the old lady.
They remind me of me and Emily.
Oh God, they do.
Oh, man.
That's me and my best friend.
Yep, your hands are literally sewed together.
Knowing those two, yeah, actually.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Emily's there right now. She's just asleep.
Well, she was
She
here
was sleeping during
last
the last podcast.
She was here last night. That's why I couldn't do the podcast last night, because something came up and she needed to stay here. But yeah, I was almost like, well, you could do, and I was like, no, it would be bad. Let's not.
Anyway, they're great. They're funny.
And Duke Kaboom and the tragedy of Réjean.
Rojan.
Why Réjean?
Oh, French Canadians.
Yeah, I don't like Rojan either. He's a little jerk kid.
You thought Bonnie was bad. Réjean is 10 times worse.
I think it's
Yeah,
just,
it is.
I had like such great respect for all my toys. Like I took care of my toys and I'd play with them for like years. I
I mean, mine are at my grandparents' house
I
in
loved them
storage.
so much.
So did I.
Ugh. I just and so when I see those seeds, I'm like, no, how could you? Don't you dare.
Well, Duke
Sure that.
Kaboom is clearly based on Evil Knievel, which my dad had an Evil Knievel set when he was a kid. And when I was a kid, we actually got my dad. They had like a remake of the Evil Knievel toy, where it's the stuntman on the bike and the giant paper ring that you jump through. So I actually played with one of those as a kid that we got my dad, uh, which was a fun toy that rarely worked. It
That
was
sucks.
just a little guy on a motorcycle. So I think that's why I got such a kick out of Duke Kaboom. And besides, it is Keanu Reeves. I don't want to sound like a normie, but we love Keanu Reeves.
Did
He's
we need to
breathtaking.
talk about emotional connections to this movie?
Well, I think it's more tied up in
I
the
mean-
first three movies.
And also, to be fair, just watched it, so
Oh, so did you have an emotional experience while watching this film?
yeah,
I mean,
laughter is an emotional experience.
yeah. Emotional experiences always mean like,
Funny.
I don't
Funny.
know if you meant that as a compliment or a complete insult.
No, as
I-
I've said, this is a good movie.
We want to talk about Daniel.
Well, I mean, the fact that the sad moments didn't do it for me was certainly something. Like, and you guys know, like I've said before, I'm a fan of bittersweet endings. That's part of the reason why I actually like the Trash Baby. But
Yeah, the
I
trash
can't.
baby.
I can't.
but it didn't connect that well for me this time, and also partially. This is coming off the heels of having seen Ralph Breaks the Internet and How to Train Your Dragon 3, which basically had the same ending
Oh, they
as
did,
this
didn't
movie.
they? And Avengers Endgame, kind of.
I think Toy Story 4 is better than Ralph Breaks the
Oh,
Internet.
It's
yeah, for
better
sure.
than Ralph
It's just,
Breaks the Internet. It's
it's
not as
just
good as
this
How
is
to
the
Train Your Dragon
third
3.
time I've seen a story about somebody who wants something more than their current friend group, so they leave, and it's a
Yeah.
big separation moment.
Yeah, Ralph Breaks the Internet was disappointing.
It was fairly alright. I didn't
It wasn't
think
bad.
it was.
It was disappointing.
Yeah. I really liked that first movie.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly the writer and director should just of those films should just stick to original ideas, which makes me sad because I wanted to see what Zootopia 2 might have been, but if it's just going to be a Wreck-It Ralph 2, then no.
No, I think we should leave Zootopia where it is in the glory that it belongs. I love Zootopia so much.
I really like Zootopia. Yeah.
Love Zootopia.
I'm
That's
not
like,
a furry, but I like it.
I think Zootopia is one of my favorite Disney movies.
Yeah.
It's
I've
like
only seen it once or twice, but I really enjoyed it.
it's like top 4, top 3, something like that.
Actually, I was wrong. The directors of Wreck-It Ralph didn't actually do Zootopia as well. I wonder where I got that idea.
Well, at least
only one
Randall
of them.
came through.
Only one of them did. That's my mistake.
Ha! You pulled
Only one.
you pulled a Nora.
No, Nora, you would never have known about the directors.
Oh.
How could you say this is pulling a Nora?
Yikes.
Because when I have a fact, sometimes it's wrong, and then I'll go check. Like that one time, I thought the voice of Ratatouille was Nathan Lane.
Fair enough.
Also, just call the character Ratatouille.
Yeah, how could you?
Oh my gosh. Remy. Oh no.
Well, I know somebody's not making it into your top 10 favorite characters.
Oof.
I like Remy. He's not one of my top 10 though.
Oh, called it.
But I do like Remy. I do not have an issue with Remy.
All right, can we stay on topic?
He tastes the
Yeah.
food.
But getting back to Toy Story 4, so I really like the idea of exploring what Forky represents. Just what is a toy?
No, Forky is the
Yeah,
But I
just
don't even really
create
do that.
life. Yeah, I like the
No.
concept of it.
no. I was
They
just
don't
there.
explode.
Forky is very dark for children.
Oh yeah. He
Forky
is
is dark.
existential horror incarnate, and it's great.
For no, I had issues. It was like children's film, people. Like, yes, enjoyable for all ages, but children's film. He wants to die all the time, and suicidal Fork is main character issues.
He's
That
not even a main character. Like after the
No,
first
he
half of the
isn't.
film, they pretty much introduced him just so that there'd be a reason to go back to the antique store.
Can we talk about the advertisement for this film though, where it's like a white background and you just see them running around and Forky's just running around screaming, "Why am I alive?"
Yeah, I was actually just about to get into the advertising and trailers for this movie. They were kind of off, and
Yeah,
not in like a deliberately misleading kind of way.
they were all like dancing around in a circle, and then Forky like rushes in and like screaming, "Help! Why am I alive? Why am I here? I'm
And they
trapped."
don't even really go into that much.
And he's like a completely different animation style than all the other toys, and I'm sitting there like, Pixar, what have you done?
So one thing, as you had mentioned earlier, Tom Hanks discussed the emotional ending a whole lot. I'm gonna say it didn't really hit that much.
Well, it did
Yeah.
for Tom Hanks.
I'm
Well,
just saying.
to be fair, Tom Hanks has invested 2.5 decades into this character.
I'm not even talking specifically about that. I'm saying in general, there was a lot of talk about the emotional ending. It wasn't as much as 3 or 2 even.
3 is the most emotional ending.
Well, yeah, and
Well, at
we
least
went
for
into
me.
yeah, but
I think
2
part of
had
that comes with your sense of finality from 3.
yeah.
And that makes me wonder how kids who are going to grow up with the Toy Story quadrilogy are going to
Yeah.
feel.
Well,
Because we live in a world where all 4 exist and there's no anticipation for the next one.
okay. So two
So-
things. I really do think. I don't think this shouldn't have been made, but I think
It's good, and it's not bad, but I wish
No.
3 was the ending.
3 was the perfect ending of the trilogy of the
3
story.
It was the ultimate movie. It was so perfect. It was the best ending of like, it was so good. And
I don't
mean,
think the existence of this movie justified.
it didn't need to happen, but it was good.
It wasn't a Finding Dory situation where I think it just should not have existed.
Yeah,
But
I don't mind Finding Dory either.
I
though.
might go in the other direction, and I might say this probably didn't need to exist.
I agree, it didn't need to,
It's-
but
it felt less like a sequel and more like an addendum, an epilogue, so to speak.
it makes me sad that Woody
I-
isn't with the gang. To be honest.
All right, next question. Do you think there will be a 5th film?
No.
No.
Really?
No.
I
Because
think they'd do it.
there wouldn't be
I
anything to
highly
build off
doubt.
of.
Like,
He's not
outside of the
with
fact that we know they're not developing any sequels at the moment,
Yeah.
which means for the next 5 years, bare minimum, not going to see it.
But even if they were doing sequels and things, I don't think they would, because it would just be like a TV show in a way, because you'd have to come up with some random fake villain and it'd just be like Woody's journey, because it's not the original gang. There's no
Yeah, who do you follow in a
There's
sequel? Do you
nothing
follow
to-
Woody and the new gang, or do you follow the old gang with Buzz and Jesse?
Well, that's the thing, though.
and you can't even do the old gang because
Because if you try to tell 2 parallel stories to get both of them in there, it's going to feel completely worthless if they don't connect, but any connection is going to feel like a
That's-
massive contrivance.
But
yeah,
that's the thing, though. I think they'd still do it.
but they shouldn't.
I can't see
I
them
know,
doing it
but
as long as Pete Docter's in charge. And by the
yeah,
time Pete Docter's no longer in charge, at least one of the duo of Tom Hanks and Tim Allen is going to be dead.
yeah.
Like, they're significantly older than Pete Docter, and Pete Docter's probably going to be around for at least 20 years in his current position.
Well, I hope Tom makes it past 20 years.
Anyway,
How old is Tom?
he's like 60-something.
Oh, he's fine. We'll get him to voice that 80-something-year-old Woody. So it'll just be like, Woody's been smoking cigars for the last 10 years.
Or maybe just the fact that he lost his voice box
He
slowly
did
changes his
lose
voice.
his.
Oh my gosh. To freaking
Anyway,
Gabby.
so
What
going
kind of
off what I,
What kind of a character's name is Gabby and she can't even talk with her voice box?
That's the irony.
irony.
I just got that.
It's ironic. I can't believe that's my second Darth Plagueis the Wise reference.
Well, congratulations. I mean, it's Toy Story. You got to reference Star Wars. That's the
Yeah,
rule.
there was a Star Wars reference in this movie.
Yep. So we got that.
It didn't correspond to a specific film, though, which I found. Because it had to have been
Metaphorically, I find that appropriate for this movie.
fair.
I remembered something. I saw a cameo from another film in this movie, and I was so proud of myself.
All right.
Oh,
no.
all right, yeah.
The gas station that the RV stops at is a Dynaco gas station.
But that was the gas station in the first Toy Story, so it appearing in Cars.
Shut up, Karen. Let me have my moment.
This is a reference to Cars, which was a reference to Toy Story.
Well, I haven't.
I'm agreeing with you, Nora. It's a reference. I'm just.
It is.
I didn't know it was a known reference.
I'm sorry, Nora.
We're sorry.
I didn't. I wasn't on the podcast for the first Toy Story, so I haven't been refreshed.
To be fair, it was kind of our worst episode.
I was so proud of myself.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we like it.
No, it wasn't.
Meanwhile,
good.
this episode has been, it's good.
Yeah.
Trying to convince ourselves.
Is that what y'all did that first recording? I've listened to the beginning of your first recording, and it sounded good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
So, with this movie, bottom line, just real quick, like, I do think it is good.
Yeah, so do I.
There's a lot.
It is spectacular looking.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
It is beautifully shot. Like, the cinematography of it is great.
The anamorphic lens just... Mwah.
Yeah. We are getting to a point where things are photorealistic in Pixar films, but at the same time...
And I wish we didn't have photorealism in every film, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I do like it in, like, Coco or Inside Out, where we can go into a more cartoony world, a more stylized world.
Yeah, and we will in both Onward and Soul. But,
there was a few times during this movie I thought this doesn't even look like animation.
It's cat, for goodness sakes.
Good. I was.
Remember that dog in the first movie?
Yeah.
Compare Spuds to the cat.
I mentioned this last time. I know there's a huge age gap in the movies, but I don't like how the styles are so different from Toy Story 4 to even the third movie.
I mean, look at the sheep, Bo Peep's sheep, how they look.
Like, they could have stylized it the same as Toy Story 3, at least. But by the end of watching it again, I started I was like, wait, this animation is so good. And I think it was because most of the time I was looking at it, I was like, this is not the same style at all. And I was sort of bothered by that, but then I really just started appreciating the animation for what it is, because it's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
And
genuinely a great-looking movie.
It really is. There's such skill and hard work that went into that, and it's so obvious. But that was my only issue with it because I couldn't appreciate how amazing and how long it
Yeah.
must have taken them.
Yeah, I wish all the Toy Stories just looked as good as the first one and not any better.
Okay, well that's not what I meant, but at least the same.
A D-make.
I'm yeah. I mean, I thought the third one still resembled the first one. The
I
fourth
mean, there was
one,
more polish in the character models and stuff,
like
but
I don't know, the fourth one just looked like they were all porcelain figures somehow. I
Well, I
don't
mean,
no,
know.
Bo Peep
I
is.
I know Bo Peep is, of course, but I don't know how else to describe it.
I genuinely liked the sheer amount of detail in the plastic look.
I mean, if I hadn't seen any of the other Toy Stories, I would be over the roof, amazed, shocked with the animation. And no one's probably gonna agree with me on this opinion. That's just what I got stuck on. But it's gorgeous, and it's amazing how many leaps they've taken in animation to do that.
Yeah. The score by Randy Newman's really good.
The score is very good. The song you mentioned earlier really stood out to me while
Yeah.
while I was watching it.
Yeah.
It got nominated for Best Original Song at the Academy Awards. Didn't win, but got nominated.
I do wish that our big original song hadn't been spent on a character who isn't really relevant after the first act.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Well,
because
Like the first chunk of the film feels so different from the back half because like it's all about Forky. And then it suddenly becomes we're at a carnival and here's Bo Peep.
I mean, all the Toy Story films are rescue missions and we gotta get home.
that's true.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not unwarranted. I'm just saying like it feels like we transitioned from a story about Forky the existential crisis spork to holy crap, Bo Peep.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I would say Forky's still like important in the second half of the film though, because they're trying to save him the whole second half.
Yeah, but he's not present, and after he decides that he's Bonnie's trash, he doesn't have any character stuff to do.
Yeah.
That's one part that did kind of disappoint me.
Oh, I was okay with them, Forky being realizing that he's important to Bonnie, because when I was first watching this, I was like, I do not want to sit through this long of a film just to watch a fork realize that he's important. So I was very happy that they went ahead and got that out of the way near the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like it was knocked out of the way so we could get into the Bo Peep stuff sooner.
I was okay with it. I just didn't want that.
I feel like this movie would have been better if it had just been Forky or just been Bo Peep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because trying to do both feels like an odd mixture.
Forky's character is good in parts, but I'm still bothered by the whole existential crisis bit of it.
I mean, that's my favorite part of it.
I think his jokes are hilarious.
Yes.
And I like his character, to be honest. It's just, I don't know. I think really maybe Woody could have gotten knocked out of the RV somehow and landed up trying to get back. But I guess that wouldn't give him a purpose per se, but it would give him more to struggle with internally, whether just to stay for Bo Peep or purely go back to Bonnie, not because he has to have a spork with him.
I think it would have been interesting if only Forky had gone on the road trip and like Woody and Buzz and Jesse snuck along to make sure he didn't kill himself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because bringing everybody along didn't matter in the end.
yeah.
If they had given Buzz
Other
more
than the
relevant to
car scene.
yeah, the GPS stuff at the end, I kind of.
I was okay. It seemed like they went back to the antique store, back to the carnival, back to the antique store, back to the carnival.
There was a lot of coming and going.
There's a lot of back and forth
Yeah.
that wish
At the same
wasn't.
time, when you put so much effort into environments, like they had to calibrate like each light bulb in the carnival or
Oh,
something
they did,
ridiculous like
and
that.
in the antique store as well.
Like,
I would love to just walk through that antique store. Okay, so one thing about me is I love
It looks
antique
so
stores.
real.
Yeah, and I love junk. Like, uh, you know what I mean? Like stores filled with just junk, antique stores in general,
Mm.
with just random stuff you can find. I love that. I love walking through those kinds of places and just seeing what they have.
The chandelier moment is visually gorgeous.
Yes,
mhm.
absolutely.
And I'm kind of glad they didn't just use a carnival moment to do that with the lights, that they
Yeah,
took an unexpected route, either one,
yeah.
to use antique store at a different angle.
And it was a sweet little moment for the two of them.
Once again, cinematography, just switching that angle, and it's beautiful.
There
That was
really is a lot to like here.
There is. I really appreciate all the new characters.
I
Well,
appreciate
for the
them, but
most
I wish the originals got a time to shine.
Me
That
too.
wasn't the RV stuff.
Yeah. I appreciate all the new characters for the most part.
I mean, granted, in the first movie, Rex and Ham and Potato Head didn't
It
do much, but in two, they were on the rescue mission, and in three, they were heavily involved in the breakout.
Yeah. But in two, they found a way to make the new characters as equally interesting as the original without one
Well,
overshadowing.
yeah, the
Yeah.
entire Jesse sequence, being the emotional core of that movie.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah,
they,
the
they did that
Toy
in this
Stories have
one, but made it
always been
weird.
really good at the art of the side character.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they did that in this one, but left out the originals. So.
I
And
think you
all of
could
the
have done it without
originals.
having to introduce all these new characters. Not that I dislike them. I obviously was talking a lot about Ducky and Bunny being really funny and liking Duke Kaboom.
I'm glad they didn't find like a way to bring back some of the Toy Story 3 characters though. Do you
What
know
do
what I'm
you
talking
mean?
about?
Like
Yeah, who
Barbie and
needs
Ken?
Trixie and Buttercup?
Oh no. Well, I get that because they're Bonnie's toys, but I don't know how they would have even done this. But if they had somehow found a way to bring like Barbie back just for the sake of having her there because she was a main character in Toy Story
They
3.
did.
What?
She was in the prologue.
I do not remember this.
Very briefly, yeah.
Well, that doesn't count.
Among
In the like, are you talking about when they go back in time?
back
Yeah,
in
the time
time.
travel segment in this movie was really out of nowhere, I felt like.
Yeah,
That was the
yeah.
Deus Ex Machina in just
They
every sense of the word.
I think they were trying to pull a Brad Bird of grabbing your attention in the beginning, but it didn't land quite the same.
No, that's not a Brad Bird style opening. It's just a flashback.
Yeah.
Like that was just a way to explain why Bo Peep was gone, and to set up the moment of Woody not accepting her offer, so it would
Yeah.
pay off later.
So, uh, in the original trailers and stuff, there was a brief shot from the prologue of playing with Woody and Buzz, and people on the internet thought it was like Andy's son, and I was like, no, they're not doing that because he had the exact same room and the same hat and looked just like Andy. I was like, no, that's just clearly a flashback. Like we know there's going to be a flashback because that
I
was a
mean, I don't
thing.
know. That guy looks nothing like Andy as a kid.
It bothers me that Woody still hasn't gone. Like they didn't find a way to resolve Woody's loss over Andy. That still seems like I know I already mentioned it, but like that still seems like a major issue to me.
Eh. I'm
Really?
gonna be honest. I
That
didn't.
that's like his whole turmoil, like in the beginning, and they never have a solution for it.
Well, going back to the commentary,
Mm.
I don't want to J.K. Rowling this and just stick with outside of the movie materials, but and because there is something to be said of death of the author, uh, but the director basically confirmed what we had been talking about for all of these movies about Woody's conflict with Andy absolutely mirroring like a parent, like an empty nest parent.
Oh,
Like he straight up said that. Uh, so yeah, I kind of get it in that regard,
yeah.
but he still had another kid. It's like, one kid goes off to college and the parents like, oh, what am I gonna do? And there's another kid standing right there being like, what about
Well, except
me?
in this case, the other kid completely ignores the existence of that parent.
Exactly, and that whole metaphor kind of falls apart once you actually say it
Yep.
out loud.
Yep.
We have not really talked that much about Bo Peep and her role in this movie.
Oh yeah, she's like the second biggest character in
She's
this.
she's pretty dope.
Yeah, she's cool. I like her.
I know it's sort of random that she's the main plot point in this movie, but her
Because she
character,
wasn't.
like herself, is cool. Like just her on her own without any other factors.
Yeah, her
cool.
design is cool, and like her fighting style, I guess, is cool or whatever.
She's a feminist icon.
Yeah, totally.
She is definitely present for the majority of the film.
Yeah, okay. Like she's random. Kind of like.
Why her? I know that in 3, and there's that great moment when Rex is like, "Oh, what about Bo Peep?" And Woody's like, "Yeah, even Bo." That's a great moment. One of my favorite in all of 3. One of my favorites in all of 3.
Yeah, I was sad Bo went, but her character in this is so different from what
Yeah,
she used to be.
I guess you can
it's
kind
weird
of
that
get
they
away with.
it's weird that they so quickly rekindle the flame of their relationship, despite the fact that Bo is an entirely different person now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, did anybody else notice the awkward little interaction at the end between Jesse and Bo? Anybody see that? There's like it is 0.2 sec, like it's not even a second, but it's like Jesse, Bo, and when they see each other, but there's a weird eye glance thing there. I swear, it's awkward. I felt awkward. Maybe
I feel like
me.
it's because it's the first time they've ever spoken to each other.
Yeah.
Wait,
It's like you expect
You
this
know,
to
you
really
probably
be.
have reason to think they'd be. You probably have reason to think they would have been friends between
I'm
2 and
sure they
3.
would have been, but
well, no, because
be
most
sure it never
people are
showed it.
like Jesse and Woody are a couple, but I mean they're not really, because Jesse and Buzz seem to be more of a thing in 3, but
They
Oh,
should
they
follow
straight
up
up
with
didn't
that.
even mention that in this.
I know it's annoying. What happens to their romance?
I
I guess
know.
it's
That
only.
was a.
I guess it only happens when Buzz is in Spanish mode.
No, not even that. There's a lot of great moments between them in the third one when he's not. And
I know, and now it's gone. So now I guess Jesse has a thing for Woody because there's an awkward trio, three-way love thing at the end that I saw. Maybe the only person saw
you're
it, but
I think
probably
you're
the
the only
only one.
person who saw it.
I'm probably the only person that saw it. But I felt it. I felt the awkwardness. Pixar, you didn't mean to do it, but you did.
I thought it was fine. I didn't really think about it that way.
This
I mean,
guy
all I
just
thought
went
during
out.
that moment was, "Wow, these characters are interacting for the first time, and it's their
There's got to be
goodbye."
somebody out there that
Yeah,
tells
in
me to do
20 years, when there could have been opportunities for them to interact, the two main female characters in the entire franchise.
I don't. Yeah, no. I consider this Bo a completely different character than the Bo that's been in Toy Story before.
Yeah,
I mean, it works enough because she was just barely in the first 2 that you didn't really know that much about her anyway.
Also, and it gets on my nerves that she leaves Woody at the antique store and just basically calls him a jerk. I'm like, well, his whole purpose was to get Forky Sporky Boy, and
and
he
I thought
hasn't.
Woody was
So.
kind of awful in that scenario because, like, he caused a lot of suffering.
Oh yeah, he was awful.
Like, her
too.
sheep lost a
both
leg
awful.
because of him,
Oh yes, they were
and he
both
completely
awful.
ruined their plans because he couldn't wait. Like, he
Yeah,
was
Buzz is the only one who was, like, right in that scenario.
Yeah, no,
yep, he
every
was kind of a joke.
I thought they were both joints. I don't know. I have some issues.
And then And then the scene like right after where like we just established Woody been a huge joke, and then Bo's like, but I love him so much.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was that was an oof.
We didn't even, like I said, how we didn't really know that much about her character from the first two. We don't really even really know much about their relationship. You know?
Well,
I
you know
mean,
that they
based on
like
some
each
dialogue in the
other.
first one, we can infer that it was very potent.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There's
Uh,
Uh,
some, yeah.
I
Should we
don't want.
discuss?
I don't. Ooh.
you don't remember how sexual their flirting was in the
No,
first movie?
I do, but now I'm thinking about it too much, and I'd like to stop.
Yeah. Uh, well,
Well,
let's
let's
talk about
Ah,
discuss.
something else. Let's talk about how
No,
Woody and
I want
Buzz
to talk about Buzz in
actually,
this movie and just
yeah,
kind of how
Woody
why
and
is
Buzz
Buzz
actually get to team
stupid?
he's
up.
there but doesn't quite do a lot.
Why is Buzz completely reverted in this movie? I don't. Not completely, but like, why is he stupid? he, he, like, I thought we've moved past the you're not a real space ranger, you can't rely on the little machines they've given you.
It's not that. It's not. Somebody thinks he's a space ranger. It's just he.
Well, I
They're
know
as
that,
funny
but
as it was, as comedically like just good as that was. There still was a problem there.
yeah, well, obviously he doesn't think he's a space ranger, but he should know that the button that he's been given isn't gonna tell him what he should do. And it wasn't a problem for me until he literally didn't believe what his button was saying, whether to go follow Woody or go back home. He was like, "Really, we should go back home?" And it kept saying it. And he was like, "Okay, fine," and just like didn't actually consider his feelings, just went with it.
Yeah, the button stuff, not great.
It
Uh,
was funny
I
at the
thought it
time.
was funny.
I thought it was funny the first time I watched it. Then I got analytical on him second time. And I went,
I
no.
mean, I don't see what purpose it serves. Like, how does Buzz, after being sentient for well over a decade, not understand what a conscience is?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
They made
Like,
him
Why did
stupid.
they make him dumb?
They made him stupid.
I do like that even though they get separated in this one, again, they do get to team up a little bit at the midway point.
How did
That's
Buzz
nice.
find them? I had an issue with that. He
He
found them on
followed
the
his inner
roof.
voice.
Oh, but what? How would you hear that? They were on a roof.
I said he followed his inner voice.
Oh, his inner voice. I thought you said her voice. I was like, I don't remember that, but okay.
I'm pretty sure there was at one point he spotted them on the roof and he went for them.
Yeah, I was gonna say because he was going to the highway, and also, why would he think that's a good idea? Because then he'd just get lost on the highway searching for them, and he would never make it back in time. And why did they let him just go?
All great questions, Nora. Uh,
I'm coming up with more issues as we keep talking about it. I was thinking I had very few issues, but
well, I mean, I can't answer any of those questions. I really don't know. Aaron,
yeah,
you watched the director's commentary. Did they defend their decisions?
Not really.
but I do think it was very funny, and I enjoyed watching it, especially the first time. I really didn't question it like at all. I was like, okay, that's funny, sure, why not? And
Um,
then uh,
regarding the
go ahead.
ending, here's some information. This is from TVTropes.org on the "What Could Have Been" trope. The film's bittersweet ending went through several revisions before ultimately settling on Woody leaving the gang to stay with Bo. Some of the first drafts ended with Bo and the other new toys joining Woody's group as Bonnie's new toys. This was shot down early in production when director Josh Cooley felt it was not emotional enough and felt too much like a reset for the characters.
Yeah.
Another alternate ending involved Bo finding a new owner and reluctantly parting ways with Woody again as he returned to Bonnie with the others. Cooley also considers the ending to be too much of a reset, as nothing would have changed for Woody, though the idea was partially reused for Gabby Gabby in the final product.
I kind of like the idea of Bo going with someone else. If Woody and Bo maybe had gone with someone else. I don't know.
Well, like, there's currently nothing in the narrative to build up Bo wanting a new kid.
Yeah. True. No.
She
seemed pretty done with all that.
Yeah.
She gets played with, and she gets to be her cool, badass self, and
yeah.
I like how they did that.
She's a strong, independent woman who don't need no child.
Yeah. I wish her character maybe had been somewhat the same as it was before, but I like the new character better than the old character, so.
Well, yeah.
I mean, but there's just more of her now. There wasn't a ton before, other than apparently the sex references that have been brought up that I forgot about.
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah, this isn't Sex Toy Story. Let's not go there.
Moving on.
They never had a kissing scene, but their faces were so close, like 4 times.
They kiss in the first one because Andy forces them to.
No. Well, no, in this movie, they don't have a kissing scene, and
That's true.
it bothered me. I feel like I'm just.
It bothered me that they restarted their romance.
Sorry, I feel like I'm complaining so much, and I really did.
Hang on, I remember. Oh, sorry. I remember a conversation you and I had, Daniel, in the lead up to this. The ending could have been that you and I discussed, that they try to restart things, but eventually realize they're just too different and their ideas are too different, and they decide to respectfully go their separate ways.
Yeah, that would have been better for me as somebody who doesn't like romance.
Yeah.
That's probably why I was talking about it.
But
well, I mean,
it might have been better, honestly, that idea we had before the movie came out, before we knew the ending.
While I was, like, the first time I watched it, I saw the ending, I think it hit me, I think, the way it was supposed to. It was bittersweet. I was satisfied with it. I really didn't question, like, any of the perfectness of it. I was sad that he was leaving the old gang, but I was happy for the possibilities he had with Bo, and I thought it was a nice ending.
We are making you into a more critical young lady.
I know. I'm kind of sad. I'm
sorry, Nora. You've been ruined because you'll never be able to enjoy movies the same way again.
Well, that's not true. Well, maybe it is. It might be.
I think it gives you further enjoyment of movies that are genuinely good.
Well, let me tell you what I like to do. I like to watch the movie without, like, analyzing it and just accepting everything is what it is, unless it's just trash and I can't. But and like watching it, and then I think about it afterwards. And so lately I've been saving that for the podcast, and apparently there's a lot coming out with this one.
There is. There is some salt.
Well, here let me talk about one thing that I felt was a strong positive for this movie, and one of the main reasons why I do consider it a good movie. Are you guys ready for the trash opinion?
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Or if it's about Gabby Gabby.
Gabby Gabby's the best Toy Story villain.
Yes! No! Because she's not really a villain.
No! I'm throwing things! No!
Oh no!
I've been waiting this whole podcast to say this. This was my biggest, and I thought my only issue. Why does Gabby, freaking Gabby, get a good ending, but Lotso the freaking bear didn't get a good ending?
She didn't leave anyone to die. Oh no.
Throne.
Oh my gosh.
Your opinion is trash.
No, you have to say my opinion is Forky.
Your opinion's sporky, forky, whatever it is, trash. Gabby can suck my big toe.
Oh, you mean the big toe that'll be in Onward?
I'll cut you, Jared.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Oh, I knew your reaction to that was going to be good. I didn't think it would
What
be that
have
good.
we done?
No. You are wrong. Gabby is crazy. Like, just crazy and weird and annoying. Like, she's fine. Like, she's fine with her soft hair and her little brush. But just leave the store. If you want love, no one's going to care about your freaking voice box, you delusional psychopath. Just leave. And why do you have dummies everywhere? The best scene is when that kid ends up with her, which is her happy ending. But why does she get a happy ending when Lotso the hugging freaking bear was tragic and should have been redeemed and had a better ending? And I didn't even get a tragic backstory. There was no big baby. There was no Daisy or whatever their mom's name was. She's just there to creep people out and take Woody's kidney voice box thingy. She has no purpose other than taking Sporky Forky in this film. She has no purpose, and it angers me.
Wow.
Uh,
So I stand by what I just said.
so do
I
I.
thought Gabby
She is
Gabby.
like the opposite of a twist villain.
So
Yeah, she's fine.
what
It's
makes Gabby
similar
Gabby?
to the algorithm lady in Wreck-It Ralph, that Ralph Breaks the Internet.
So what makes Gabby Gabby different from her previous villains, Prospector and Lotso?
Yeah.
She
Because the
has
first
not
movie didn't
given
really have
up. She has not given up on the idea of kids.
Yeah.
Prospector was completely against them. Lotso
Very
no
much
longer craved
so.
attachment to them. But Gabby Gabby's like motivations compared to Prospector and Lotso were pure. She wanted something, and she was never evil
Yeah,
in
just
the
a little
traditional sense.
misguided and creepy.
Misguided, creepy, manipulative, all which make her pretty great in my opinion.
Yeah.
The fact that
I
she
liked her.
uses manipulation and actually makes good points to convince Woody to give up his voice box.
And he eventually does.
Yeah, that
Almost very literally going for his heart. Unless you want to talk about it in Kingdom Hearts lore terms, because that's entirely canon, as we know. No, seriously, it is official canon.
I literally have a headache now. I'm not even kidding. I actually have a headache. I got so upset.
I'm sorry, Nora.
Sometimes I'll go back and listen to the recordings for like specific highlights. One of them.
Just skip to
It's
an
on
hour
the
and a
left
half
side
in.
of my head. I feel pain. That's the logical side. That's the logical side. My logical side feels pain. I'm pained. Switching. No.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Okay, listen. I will give Gabby Gobblot the benefit of the doubt. She is not awful. She's creepy as heck. But she turns. I don't even know how to explain it. She turned nice so fast when she just manipulated the heck out of Woody for his voice box. And I guess it's because she gets turned down by Harmony, so she has a revelation and goes with them. And I guess that's their logic for it. And she's fine and dandy and all, but she's not. I don't
Her
know.
motivations were simple and pure. She wanted a kid. And so I completely buy the fact that she would, stop and help that child who was crying and lost. Like,
Hmm.
because it,
Do you want to know who she
unlike
kind of
lots
reminds
of
me of?
others. Yeah, go for it.
Spinel.
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
No,
kidding.
no,
Wait,
it's not a
that
one-to-one
makes me
even
like
close.
her
It's
in a
not
way.
1-to-1, but
Wait, that kind of makes me like her in a way better because I get Spinel. I don't get Gabby Gabby. I don't get why they're just so willing to accept the woman that's been tampering with them, holding their friend hostage, and wanting to steal Woody's organ the whole time. And then they're just like, she's fine, no problem. She just had
Well,
dummy manipulating
Gabby
control.
makes a plea to Woody's, emotions and wins him over temporarily to get the voice box, and then they all feel excessive amount of pity for her after Harmony, does her thing. And Forky never disliked Gabby Gabby.
The villain just gets what she wants and wins. And I mean, that's
She
fine
gets
and
what she
all.
wants in a way, but she is forced to, challenge her beliefs because the thing that she wanted first and foremost was Harmony. And because she went about her stuff dishonestly, she didn't get Harmony. And then in making that change, she does get what she truly wanted, which was a kid.
Yeah.
here in the garden, let's
That scene
play a
is like my
game.
favorite scene though, where the ball's rolled and the kid sees Gabby and Gabby.
Yeah, that
Okay,
was the that
It's
was
good.
the emotional part for
I
me.
think because I
Most
even
emotional part of the movie for me, yeah.
watching it the second time, even in that scene, I was like, oh yay, Gabby! And like when she got thrown down, I was like, oh no. So okay, I'm realizing. I already knew this, but I'm really realizing. I don't have an issue with Gabby Gabby. I like her. I have an issue that she got the happy ending that Lotso Hugging Bear should have gotten.
Oh dear.
Lotso Hugging Bear should have gotten the happy ending. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what he did. Gabby Gabby has freaking marionette dolls torturing everyone for years, especially according to Bo Peep, and she gets a happy ending. So where is Lotso Hugging Bear's happy ending? He even had a sad story that made you want to die inside. So where
But he
is my Hugging
left the
Bear's
others
happy
to.
ending?
Yeah, I feel like you would really like Kylo Ren, Nora.
Dear, you would.
Oh, in the new trilogy of
Yes,
well,
you'd
I
be
saw the first
friggin'
and last
Raylo
movie.
trash.
I saw like the first movie of that last trilogy a while ago, then the third movie recently, and I liked that. So
Raylo trash, Raylo trash, Raylo trash.
you don't like Ren?
You're going to be
Oh no,
tweeting
no, he's
things
my
back.
favorite character. I love him so much. He is my favorite character in all Wars
Mm.
because I see so much of me in him.
Oh, that's not good. He like kills a lot of people.
Yeah, Jaren,
I'm
that makes me
kidding.
concerned.
I'm very kidding.
Are
I'm
you
trying
okay?
to sound. Am I ever?
Jaren just looks like the evil mass murdering dictator who's like, yeah, I relate.
No, I'm doing a bit here. Gosh.
Mm. So okay, it's not Gabby's fault that I have an issue with her. She's great, fine. I said it. She's wonderful, but she is not as good as Lotso Hugging Bear. Lotso Hugging Bear is the best, and all of you can fight me, and I don't care.
Oh no, he's a great character. He's just
I'm
evil
not
and
saying Lotso's bad at all. He's
I
going to
think
make my top 10 villains list.
Gabby. I don't know. She doesn't even hide that she's bad, and it's creepy. And I just think she's just as bad, and she got a happy ending.
yeah. Just to clarify again, the Kylo Ren comment is just me doing a bit. I am okay.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
We believe you, Jaren.
We believe you. We see where you were coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had a heart-to-heart with your father's spirit memory that was conjured by your mother, and it made you realize that Ben 10 is just a bit.
My dad's just down the hall. I can go talk to him where I want.
I don't think you should do that, Mr. Wren.
I would like to apologize for my outburst.
You
No,
and I
Nora,
both had
please don't.
outbursts,
It
and
was
it's
so
okay.
good.
I
Daniel,
wish I wish
your time
you
for-
had it recording, like visual recording, because there really was things that were thrown. There
you would be a great gaming YouTuber.
PewDiePie, watch out, here I come.
Just 5 months from now, Johnny Deplings overtakes PewDiePie.
Yes.
6 months from now, overtakes T-Series.
Yes, that will happen.
Oh
Get
my
ready.
gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to see that happen.
Good.
I would as well.
You know what else I would love to see?
Lotso hugging bear get the ending he deserves. Me too.
I would love
The
to
one
see
where-
Ducky and Bunny turn gigantic and breathe fire and shoot lasers out of their eyes for real.
Ducky and Bunny are the best characters. They're my favorite. Like, okay, they're like some of my favorite characters in Toy Story, or just the series in general. Yeah, I love
They are
them.
so much fun.
I love them so much, and now I fully believe that that's me and Emily's. Emily, that's Emily. That's me. Emily and I. No, Emily and me's friend. Emily and mine.
Mine and Emily's friendship.
The mine wouldn't go first though.
Mine and Emily's friendship.
Wouldn't it be? It'd be Emily and mine then.
You can do it
No,
either way.
No, you have to do the other first.
You can do it either way.
Okay. Well, Emily and mine's friendship. Mine and Emily's. Either or. Yeah.
So guys, guess what?
What?
This is the first time we've ever had a podcast episode be longer than the film.
No.
Fine.
Oh my gosh.
Is
There's
this
still
the
a lot more I
longest-
want.
Is this the longest Toy Story film?
I think Toy Story 3 is longer.
Really?
It
Because
feels longer, yeah.
Okay. Well, I noticed it was longer than like 2 of them, but I didn't see which ones they were. I just saw some of them listed how long they were. Somehow this movie seems busier than Toy Story 3, but not necessarily in a good way. I don't know how they did that.
They have so much ground to
It's
cover.
important.
Like, this movie starts with an existential crisis about the nature of being alive and ends with the old flames rekindling their romance.
Yeah,
You don't go from one to the other accidentally. You take deliberate steps, and there are many steps to take.
Sharon, can you please explain to me why they did not name that character Sporky?
Can you hear me?
Yeah? Hello? Sharon? Sharon? Now I can't hear
Hello,
you.
I'm back.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi, Jared.
We can hear you.
Hi.
Hi.
You know, there's something. Hi. There's something about the first movie that's so simplistic, but makes the most of it, of its simplicity.
I mean,
Everything kind
this
of
movie
feels
that's
like
so
it's
complicated, but doesn't make the most of its complexity.
yeah.
Yes.
It's like poetry, it rhymes, but in a bad way.
No, but Sharon, can you tell me why they named him Forky instead of Sporky?
I think it was the director's kid. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, like, what did it say? Oh, the director's kid? Just like.
Yeah.
Well, that's stupid. Why would you do that in a film? No. Name the character Sporky. It's a spork.
What about Knifey?
No. Nike's
No, the director the knife is named after is named something else. It's like Sally Jane or something.
I can't.
I do love that little bit where Forky's like, I'll explain everything. And then the first question she asks, he
Yes.
can't explain.
Well, okay. My mom was with me, and she walked into the house or something. I don't remember. And I had Toy Story 4 on my phone, and she was like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "Toy Story 4." And she sat down and watched the ending with me because I think she hasn't seen it, but she knew the ending because I think when I saw it in theaters, she just wanted to know the ending because she said, "I won't see it for a long time. So just go ahead and tell me." And I said, "Okay." And so she knew the ending, and she was watching it with me, and we saw that end scene, and I didn't notice that was his first question, and she laughed very hard. She was like, he doesn't know. Okay. And she thought it was very funny, and I thought that was very funny. So that was my story. Thank you.
Yay.
Also, in the post credits, well, during the credit after scenes, I always wait for post credits no matter what. So even though those little scenes had happened afterwards, I wanted to just make sure. But they have what's Keanu Reeves' character name? The Canada one.
Kaboom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have Kaboom, and he's like the Pixar lamp, and he bounces up and down on the eye with his bike, and that's fun. I like
Yeah.
that.
That is fun.
I don't know if y'all saw that, but I liked it. That was my tangent. The end.
If they do make a fifth one, Duke Kaboom should just run into Rajan. Like, Rajan's a 30-year-old man now because it's been years. And he just decides to take all his anger out on Rajan all of a sudden.
Turns out Rajan grew up to be Alfredo Linguini.
He does look a bit like Linguini.
He has brown hair and a huge nose. He just dyed his hair red and went through puberty.
Yeah, the timeline does kind of work out.
Oh my gosh, is that where it is in the picture?
However, I have been waiting to discuss this.
The Pixar theory.
The director on the commentary stated that they intentionally put so many Easter eggs to other films within the antique shop to deliberately cancel the Pixar theory.
And
Nice.
I didn't see any of them. And
They're well hidden, apparently.
the one I saw was the Dynacoat that y'all already knew about very well.
Yeah, 13 years ago.
I'm
From
so
Cars.
sad. I'm so sad.
Sorry, Nora.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Anyway, Bonnie's mom is reading a book that the director said was called The Problems of Debunking the Idea of a Shared Universe. So he went out of his way to stop the Pixar theory.
Thank
Good
you,
for
Josh
him.
Cooley.
Um,
Yeah, speaking of, this is Josh Cooley's first feature film.
that was just what I was about to ask. I was gonna say I don't remember him having feature film in Pixar. Was this his first one?
Yep. He did the short film Riley's First Date,
Mm-hmm.
but that was his only other thing prior to this.
He
so.
was co-director on Inside Out or something like
Okay.
that.
Well,
No, that was Ronnie Delcon.
I'd love to see him direct another one, especially that's not a sequel or anything, because
Yeah, like
Oh, it's almost like what Daniel talked about in his video.
Sorry.
I am very much ready for Pixar's second generation of directors to get to their original films already, which is why I'm very excited for Onward.
Yeah.
Did he direct Onward?
No.
Jan Scanlon's doing Onward.
Okay,
I know he did Monsters University.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that.
Yeah. I'm sure
AKA
Josh Cooley will have one soon. It probably won't be until like 2024 at the earliest, simply because of how long it takes to make an animated movie.
Yeah,
But
a
I
Pixar
have no
film
doubt
in
he's the
particular
director of
takes about.
something.
Oh, to anyone listening though, you need to go watch Daniel's video. Oh, the audio's echoing. That's hard to talk. Okay, it's done. But you need to go watch Daniel's video. That's like the first video, because I didn't watch it till about doing After Six podcasts, and then I realized that video basically sums up in a few minutes what I had to learn over hours of recording podcasts, which I could have just learned.
It's quite good. I helped with the script for it.
Oh, it was
It's a good crash
wonderful.
course into the
Oh,
last 10 years of Pixar.
it was wonderful, but it was probably like after Brave that I watched it, and it really would have helped. It's really good though, so
It is.
also
Well,
go watch his movie recommendations because I want to go watch all those movies now.
so
That
I
was
think,
my promo for the video.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I think we are coming to the end of this. Do you want to do final thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sort of sad to end this video.
We'll be back in it'll be a little over a week, just because
Yeah.
Onward is a bit further out. But
Yeah.
But we made it. We
I
made it.
know.
We did it.
On
Oh my gosh, this
schedule.
has lasted.
Yeah, we went on a little break between Christmas and New Year, but that's just because two of us were in Hamlet during that time. And, just the holidays in general are busy, but we
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 really
did.
started
pulled this
this
off.
podcast. When we started this podcast, I was working at Bed Bath and Beyond, and now I work at an actual company.
What a
I was
shame.
I was an unemployed schlub who just got finished with a temporary seasonal job at community college bookstore, and now I've got a full time. I don't know if it's full time, but it is. It is. It pays like a full time job. Teaching job right now that I'm enjoying,
I was in Les Mis, and then I
and
heard
so was
about
I.
the podcast. Um, and then I somehow became third member, and I made some really good friends and
Aw.
became closer with everyone. And I've really enjoyed these last few weeks recording, and it made me realize that wow, Nora, you're really, really, really bad at names. I didn't realize how bad at
But it
names I
made me
was.
realize we couldn't have done it without you.
Ah,
Yeah. Podcast would not have been as fun if you hadn't been around.
no, they're gonna make me ink.
Hey,
I'm
listen to your inner
HGO
voice.
tolerant, so don't cry.
Ah!
Oh man.
No,
No,
I
don't worry.
love
We still
y'all.
have one more before the podcast goes on hiatus, and then we'll have Soul in
Okay,
July.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little concerned about how we're gonna conduct the list. I think it's going to be very chaotic, but I'm also very excited.
I'm excited too. But
So
before
am
we get
I.
to the lists in a couple of days or something, I guess, let's
Okay.
do our final thoughts on Toy Story 4.
Okay, who
It's
wants to go first?
uh, it's good, but yeah,
Mm. Good. Good comments. Jane. Okay, I'll go. Um, I feel bad because I feel like I bashed on it way too much, and I actually really like this movie despite my comments, and I didn't get to talk about Ducky and Bunny enough, but they had me bursting out laughing in the movie theater. My main issue is that Gabby Gabby needs to sit down and they need to praise Lotso Hugging Bear because he is amazing and should have gotten a happy ending.
you're
And I'm
really not
very
going to give up on that, are you?
I will never give up on that. I am
There's
so
currently a
angry.
hashtag to revive Ben Solo. I think Nora
Oh,
Palazzo is not a problem.
I am so angry about Lotso Hugging Bear's ending, and I will go to the ends of the earth preaching for Lotso Hugging Bear. Thank you.
that's how
All right.
cults get started.
Um, well, okay, I'll do mine now. Fourth time wasn't the charm, but it does have its charms.
That was clever. That was
Ooh,
good.
that's very good.
I have to sing us out.
Please do.
I would. Okay.
Ba 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 ba. So the fourth movie wasn't as good as the third. It was literally about a piece of trash. and the makers' opinions were trash about making Gabby Gabby better than Lotso Hugging Bear, but that's okay because parts of it were really funny despite the big plot holes, and I'm not gonna complain about it anymore because this was our last podcast before Onward, and now we have to do some rankings that are going to be controversial, and you better believe my love for Lotso Hugging the Bear will affect this rating for this movie. Thank you.
Stan Gabby Gabby.